Hey, how you guys doing? This is Neil from growpotcheaply.com, and I finally did it. All the hard work paid off. I produced the most powerful LED light on the market, period. I'm going to prove it in this video. It is as powerful in intensity and in its PAR reading and in its lux reading as a 1,000-watt double-ended Gavita. That's insane. No LED light can prove that, can even claim that, will even attempt to claim that. They might claim, oh, it can replace. No, this is as powerful as, and it uses like twice as less electricity. Okay, so when you plug in the Gavita bulb, which we'll do in this video, to the watt meter, it uses 1,125 watts of electricity. This one plugged in uses 520 watts of electricity. At 520 watts of electricity, it produces 1,000 ohms at 3 feet away. That's its PAR reading. That's insane. Just to give you an idea how insane that is, Kind, which has the highest readings I know of for its like XL 1000, whatever it is, K5 XL 1000, it has 524 ohms. They claim, they never actually show a video where they're doing it in real time like I'm going to do, but they claim, I'm just going to go by their claim, 524 ohms at 3 feet away. Mine doubles that at 3 feet away. But theirs progressively drops off big time. At 4 feet away, it's only 300. Mine doesn't get to 300 until like 6.5 feet away. This thing will continue to grow from 7 feet away, and you'll still get respectable buds off of it. Not only that though, its intensity, its lux readings, as well as its PAR readings, stay that high, and prove all that in this video. Also, I'm going to show you the spectrum of the light. It is the perfect sun. I perfected it. It is the perfect sun spectrum. I'll explain why that is. This little piece of equipment is expensive. This is a like $1,400 piece of equipment. It's the best handheld spectrometer on the market, period. It will give you almost the exact same readings as the very, very expensive machines that look like spheres. They put lights in to measure the spectrometer or the spectrum of it. I'm using the exact same PAR reader, exact same brand and everything as the Kind uses and as King Spectrum uses. Now, I'll also give you an idea how powerful this thing is. King Spectrum makes this boasting claim that his lights are like the best in the world as far as like how intense they are and how much PAR they have. He only has 300 ohms at 3 feet away. At 3 feet away, my light, this is the Perfect Sun 1000, Black Diamond Perfect Sun 1000, 1,000 ohms, actually a little bit over 1,000 ohms at 3 feet away. So here, 300 versus 1,000. Kind, 500 versus 1,000. Also, Kind's light uses 625 watts of electricity. This one only uses 520. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and show you up close the light here really quickly. And then I'm going to show you the actual, I'm going to use all these instruments and show you it. I have to do it on the floor. And the reason why I have to do it on the floor is because it's such a powerful light that I'd have to use a super tall ceiling to actually show you how far its penetration goes. That's how powerful it is. The price, amazing. It's going to be right around the $900 mark. So I'm beating everyone in intensity. I'm beating them in PAR. I'm beating them in spectrum. And you're going to see how awesome the spectrum is. It's got UV. It's got the infrared. It has tons of red, tons of blue, more red and blue than any other light. It has the orange. It has some of the yellow, has some of the green because that is still important to light, but it's a lot less in the sun. That's why it's a perfect sun spectrum. And all at a price at like sometimes twice as cheap as a lot of these other lights. King Spectrum's, I think his cheapest light that is actually, he won't even come close to this, not even close to it, but his most powerful light is like $1,300, $1,400. Kind's is, I think, $1,700, and that's on sale right now. Advanced, that's like way expensive, and none of them even come close to this thing. Even their so-called 10-watt cob, I guarantee, I challenge any LED company, any one of them, to put their light up to the test of this thing, doing the exact same. I'm going to show the entire instrument is going to be in camera view the entire time, and I'm going to show you the readings in real time, not just supposed readings. So you get to see the evidence for yourself, how awesome the light this is. This is the light I'm going to put inside the closet grow. This is also the light I'm going to compare in the side-by-side grow in the big grow room with my 1,000-watt Gavita. All right, so let's get started and look at it up close, and then I'll show you the readings. Let's go ahead and look at this construction really quickly here. So it's made of beautiful aluminum. You can see the nice finished, almost looks like a pearlescent aluminum. So it's a lot lighter than conventional lights. I went with the rectangular design. The reason why I went with a rectangular design rather than a square design is it makes it much easier to grow in closets, makes it much easier to grow in greenhouses, makes much in big grow rooms and big grow operations and tents and everything. So if you have like a 5x5 or 4x4 or 3x3 tent, it's much easier just to grow with one of these, which will cover the whole 3x3 tent, or use two of these in a 5x5 tent rather than having to use 4 square lights. All right, so first thing I just want to show, yes, everything's fair. I have the measurement tape here. It's touching the end of the light. And you can see it comes down here to 1 foot. We got 2 feet, 3 feet, 4 feet, 5 feet, 6 feet, 7 feet, way back there 8 feet. I'm going to take measurements from these different feet, also from 18 inches away, just because that's like the optimal distance you want your light away from the plants usually. So that's going to be awesome. All right, so let's go ahead and get started with that. First thing up is the PAR reading. Since everyone thinks PAR reading is so important, that's what we'll start with. Pause. All right, so right here is 18 inches. So I'm going to put the stick here just to mark. If you can come in on here, show that this is 18 inches away. I got the stick right here at 18 inches away. No reason to measure 1 foot away because this thing is way too powerful it'll burn any plant at 1 feet away. It's like trying to put a gavita at 1 feet away. Ridiculous. Most plants might not be able to handle this thing 18 inches away. All right, so we're 18 inches away. I want to show you that the entire instrument is in the camera. What's the reading?
I have to make sure everything's in here.
So it looks like it's 1790.
Yeah, 1790.
Right, so that's 18 inches away. That's going to burn most plants.
Yeah.
Okay, you just reached into the brightness though. All right, anyway.
All
right, so now we're at 2 feet away.
I'll just say 14, 10.
Okay, now if you can like slowly set that down on the ground and then just kind of move back. I want them to see the entire wire, everything.
That's what I'm trying to do.
It's all one shot, everything here. All right, now we're going to move back to 3 feet away. I want you to see that all this is all in the shot. I want all the same wire and everything in the shot. Slowly go out so they can see everything. I'm trying to keep this as fair as possible. I want you guys to see everything. Make sure they can even see the end of your cable there.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to do too.
So at 3 feet away, where are we at?
1050.
1050, folks. That's double the power of kind LED lights at 3 feet away. King Spectrum LED lights is only 300 ohms. This is measuring ohms, by the way. This is the exact same meter they use, the exact same meter, same brand, everything. The same brand, everything. All right, let's go back to 4 feet.
Oh, it's at 240. Turn it back on. It takes a second.
All right, now we're way back here at 4 feet. I'll move much faster when I get to the lux reading and stuff. You guys will be able to see that right here. One more thing, just kind of, if you can really quickly from here, just look down and make sure that this hasn't moved. See, it's still at the edge, touching light. So everything's the same. All right, so at 4 feet away.
Oh, hold on, wait. 4 feet away, it is 715, we'll say.
715. So at 4 feet away, it's still like 200 ohms more powerful than Kind's most powerful LED light they have, which they sell for $1,700. It's 400 more ohms more powerful. It's double. It's more
now
than
it's saying
double.
700.
So it's more than double the power of King Spectrum's LED
it's
light.
back up there.
So for all those that say, "Oh, King Spectrum has the best penetration," you know what? It doesn't matter that he uses a little bit less electricity. I'm gonna prove this one uses 520 watts. We'll show that next, that it uses 520 watts electricity. That's all it uses. So yeah, his might use a little less electricity, but I'm more than doubling his power at 4 feet away that what he gets at 3 feet away. Remember, at 3 feet away, we're getting what again?
So 1050,
Right,
1055.
And he's only getting 300 at 10 feet away. So yeah, we use an extra 120 watts of electricity, but look how much more power we're getting. It's insane.
And this wire is long.
All right, so now we're at 5 feet away. What's it read?
Oh, you want me to zoom in?
They can see it moving now.
Oh, sorry about that. Now it's at 520.
Right, so that's from 5 feet away.
515.
I go ahead and zoom in, just slowly move closer to where they can read. That's at 5 feet away. Make sure that thing's moved. Try to stay further away, please, so they can see that there's nothing moves. Keep this in.
I heard you. Keep that in the shot. It's in there.
I want this thing in the shot.
Yeah, it didn't move.
As you're moving, okay. Now we're gonna go to 6 feet away.
This wire's so long. Cut it. Can't see that. Okay, wait. There we go. 6 feet away, it's like 385.
385, folks, at 6 feet away.
So you can see all the wire.
That's still 85 umos higher than King Spectrum's light at 3 feet away. I'm 3 feet more away, folks. Talk about penetration. There is no LED light in the market that can do this. None. I challenge anyone to show me an LED, do this exact same test where everything is fair, everything's in the camera, and try to show that you can have this kind of power, this kind of par at that many feet away. Now let's go to 7 feet away. This is going to blow people's minds right here.
It's 285.
285, folks, at 7 feet away.
There's the rest of the wire right there.
That's 7 feet away. Now let's just slowly move until we get to 300.
Oh wait, you passed 300.
Okay.
Right there.
81 inches, folks. That's only 3 inches away from 7 feet. So at 81 inches, we have, so at almost 7 feet away, we have the same intensity of power that King Spectrum does at 3 feet away. We're almost 7 feet away. Now, I want to reiterate that again because, if you can go ahead, I'm going to hold this here at 7 feet away. If you can now slowly, and don't, make sure they can see this the entire time, please.
Oh.
This part right here, I just want this to see this at we're at 7 feet away. All right, so there you go. You saw it yourself. Now let's look at the lux reading. But before we do that, because this might just seem unbelievable, let's look at the how much watts it used. So go ahead and keep the phone on. Don't pause it. Plug here. So the phone is plugged all the way down to the meter itself, all the way down the cord to the light that we've been measuring this entire time. The reading, as you can see, 520. This thing has been on for quite a while, and it doesn't change. It stays at 520 and 519. Right, so that's all the power it's using. So now we saw, that's something that most LED lights, I've never seen any LED light company prove that. To actually show live, with the readings they're getting, showing how much electricity the light actually uses. They'll claim how much electricity it uses, but I'm actually showing how much it uses. So only 520 watts of electricity. And I'm also prove that this thing, if because you don't believe it, remember the numbers. Those numbers will be either a little bit better than the Gavita as we get further away in penetration on the power reading. Now let's look at lux reading real quickly. So we're going to do the exact same thing. I'm going to have my girlfriend stand here. And we'll do the 18 inches away and then so forth. And we'll do it much faster this time. You guys can just trust, I'm going to have her be like this right here. And, kind of show it real quick like that. And then just kind of look at the meter itself. She's going to hold the meter like this. So, yeah.
If I can read it, they should be able to read it. Yeah, that's perfect. I can read that.
All right, so that's 18 inches away. We're at, it's like pretty much trying to max out my machine. It's over 100,000 lux. Now let's go from 2 feet away. We're at 970 or 97,000 lux.
Do you want me to zoom in each time?
Let's go to 3 feet away.
645.
All right, so that means, this is times 100. Just zoom in on it so they can see the times 100. Yeah, it means you have to add zeros behind it. Just times that number times 100. So that's actually 64,000 lux. All right, this just shows the intensity of the light. I'm showing that not only does it have par,
you can tap the screen,
but it has intensity.
There you go.
All right, so not only does it have par, but it has intensity. I'll show that I'm still here. I
Yeah.
don't think I kind of see the number. We're gonna go down to 4 feet. I'm trying to do this fast here.
It's 415.
So now we're at 41,000 lux.
Sorry.
By the way, on a good day, on a really hot day in the best part of California, you're talking about 130 to 100.
284.
So we're talking about maybe 130 to 150,000 lux on a super good day in California. Most days, though, you're talking about 100,000 lux. So this thing produces over 100,000 lux at 18 inches away. At 3 feet away, it still produces 60,000 lux. That's still a good day in most parts of California, most parts of Oregon, where you can grow nice. And you're going to see that it compares to the double-ended 1,000 watt Kavita, which is the most powerful, like intense light on the planet. So
200.
So that's 20?
Yeah.
So 20,000 lux. And then finally we'll go all the way to 7 feet away, just for the hell of it.
That's 15.
So 15,000, right? So all the way to 7 feet away, folks, this thing still has respectable numbers. Now let's look at the spectrometer. All right, so now I'm going to show the spectrum of this light. It uses your actual phone. That's a Bluetooth with it. Let's go ahead and get the spectrum of this light now. Take a single reading. Hit next. Measure. I'm going to go and bring this up to you so you can actually see this. So as you can see, we got, so anything below that 400 number, right? So you can see the 420. Anything below that 400 is UV. So you see it has tons of UV. Anything above 700 is all infrared. Notice it has tons of infrared. Anything between 400 and 700 is the visible light spectrum. Notice that we have tons of blue, right? That's really good for vegging. And we have tons of red and orange, really good for flowering. Now, the reason why it's a perfect sun is a lot of people believe that that green and yellow isn't really useful for plants, but we've seen with newer studies that it is, but we don't need as much as the sun produces. So my light produces much less of the yellow and the green, right? But it produces more than other LED lights out there. This is necessary to have the awesome PAR readings, the awesome intensity of your light for the penetration, so that it'll be as powerful as a double-ended Kavita light bulb. Now notice though, there's no shortage of how much red and how much blue you have. This thing, most of that intensity is coming from the colors that matter the most, right? So it has a perfect balanced spectrum. That's why I call it the perfect sun. It's basically taking the sun, hey, let's remove a lot of that green, remove a lot of that heat, and bam, you got that perfect sun spectrum. You still got tons of UV light and tons of infrared light like the sun has as well. To prove that my light is as powerful as a double-ended 1,000 watt Kavita, this is the double-ended 1,000 watt Kavita. You can see that's what it looks like. Notice it's a double-ended bulb. These are more powerful than your standard 1,000 watt, way more powerful. You can compare them. It's run by the Galaxy. Now this is the exact same setup that I use for that critical auto and got 2.95 pounds off one autoflower plant. It went like over 150 days old. So it was a weird mutant. It's also the same light that I got the 14.3 ounces off the Auto Northern Lights and so forth. You can see now that it's pretty much fully warmed up now. We're at 1120 watts. You can see that this right here, I just want to show that this is the wire from this is going to the Galaxy ballast. And then you can see this right here. I want to show that this cord is going to the light that we're going to be measuring, which has a tape measure already in place, just like the other light did. I also want to show really quickly that it's on turbo setting. Come on, autofocus already. There you go. So it's on turbo charge. I'm going to go ahead and turn it just so you can see. It's turned all the way to turbo charge. You can also tell by the amount of watts it's using that it's being turbocharged. So it uses 1,120 watts. Mine only uses 520. Now the moment of truth. Let's see what kind of numbers we get off this thing. Try to bring it up to the camera.
Oh, there it goes. It says 3,000.
Right, so it's maxing out at 3,000. So from this close, it's more powerful than my light, but you're never going to grow with this light from 18 inches away. You can't, not unless it's on a light mover. And as we move away to 2 feet,
It's 23. I don't know. Jumping. All right. What did it say? 2340.
okay, so a little bit better par so far. Now we're at 3 feet away.
Oh. 1200.
So 1200 at 3 feet away. That's a little bit better than my light. My light has a par of 1,000 something at 3 feet away, like 1,050 or something like that. So this has 1200. So for those that claim that Gavidas don't have great par readings, they do. But we're going to see that most of that par is coming from the green and yellow spectrum. It's mostly heat. So, yeah, it has slightly better par reading, but the spectrum is not nearly as good. I'm just showing that it actually compares the numbers. We're at 4 feet away now.
Jeez. There we go, 695.
So 695. So as you can see, we're starting to, as you get a little bit further away, it's starting to get more close to my perfect sun 1000.
Alright, it's 460.
460 at 5 feet away. At 6 feet away.
It's 330.
What is it?
330.
330. And finally at 7 feet away, you can see it's starting to drop off.
I say 240.
240. So as we get down to the 4 and 5 and 6 and so forth, you can see
I can't see it.
it's a max out 18. We'll have to go 2 feet. All right, so we're at 102,000 lux at 2 feet away. At 3 feet away, we're at 78,000 lux, 77. Mine was like 68 or something like that. Now we're at 46,000 at 4 feet away. What does that say?
It's 294.
All right, so 29,000 at 5 feet away.
It's 20,000.
20,000 at 6 feet away.
15,000.
15,000 at 7 feet away. You can see those numbers are pretty equivalent. Mine was like, what, 14,000 at 17 or 7 feet away? So those are pretty equivalent numbers to my light. Now here's the thing. Keep in mind, this thing's using double the watts, more than double the watts. 2 of my lights only use 1,040 watts. That's for 2 of my lights, right? So 2 of my lights still use less than this thing, and 2 of my lights together will blow this thing away. Also keep in mind that my light's only using 520 watts, and it's almost giving the exact same readings from every point, and sometimes giving better readings as we get further away. Almost identical par, almost identical lux reading, and this is a double-ended, super overpowered bulb. This is way more powerful than a standard single-ended. If you get like a single-ended Hortilux bulb, this is way more powerful than that, and they produce way more heat. Now let's look at the spectrum. Ready? All right, so now we're going to take the spectrum of the double-ended Gavita bulb, fully powered. And measure. Now here's where you're going to see a huge difference. So we have to kind of, so you can actually read this, we have to come away from the light a little bit because that light's so powerful. Look at the difference there. As you can see, not nearly as much blue, but we know that this thing actually veggies pretty good. Like it has so much intensity because it's so intense with the lux and with the par. That still gives you nice tight node spacing, even with just that much blue. Right? Notice it has a good amount of infrared, good amount of infrared and good amount of UV, just like my light. It has, now this is actually this actually has a slightly better spectrum than the Gavita bulb. This is actually Oshio's double-ended bulb. Notice it has a little bit less green. The Oshio has this big dip in the green, where the Gavita has a big old mountain of green there. Where this thing really shines, though, is it does have a good amount of that orange and red. So really good for firing. But you can also see it has a huge amount of that green spike and a huge amount of that yellow spike. This and a huge amount of that orange spike. This thing produces tons of heat. Like, I'm hot right now just being next to it. It hasn't even been on that long. And I'm like sweating. That's how hot this thing gets. I mean, it's ridiculous how fast it gets hot. So it's an okay spectrum. It's not too bad, but it produces tons of heat, uses tons of electricity. So what's the main benefit? Why use my LED light over the Gavita light? They both have about the same numbers of intensity, while my light uses twice as less electricity, uses way less heat, so it's saving you money in many ways. At first, it's cutting your bill in half just by how much electricity the light uses. Let me go ahead and push pause real quick while I can finish to explain. All right, so the main difference between the two lights is that you can see they're pretty equivalent in the PAR readings from each distance. Mine starts to get actually more powerful the further away you get. It also has pretty equivalent in lux, that is intensity. Now, what's the difference between lux and PAR reading? The main difference is, I explained this in the video, lux reading has a bias toward the green and yellow spectrum. That is, it doesn't measure all photons coming in equally. A PAR meter measures all photons coming in equally, and it only measures from 400 to 700. So both PAR meters and lux meters measure from the 400 to 700 nanometers, the visible light spectrum. The difference is the PAR meter takes all those nanometers, the 400, 420, so forth, all the way up to 700, all those photons coming in of all those different colors, it measures them equally, gives them equal measure weight to them. So you can actually have a light that's just like all green light. As long as it's intense enough, it's going to give you a super high PAR rating, right? So but we know an all green light will not grow weed. It will not grow any plant, right? All green light is not going to grow a plant. So the PAR reading itself it's important, but it doesn't tell you how good the light's going to grow. What tells you how good the light's going to grow is that spectrum. Now you can see that the Ushio bulb actually has a very respectable spectrum, at least more for flowering than for vegging. But I can attest to you, you've seen me grow with it and veg with it. You actually get pretty tight node spacing most of the time with it, even though it kind of lacks in that blue spectrum. Mine has a better spectrum, so the intensity is a little bit less than the Gavita bulb, but it uses twice as less electricity. It also utilizes that spectrum better. So all that intensity come in, that 1,000 lumens versus, so at 2 feet away, right? We had, or no, at 3 feet away, we had 1,000 lumens on my, or 1,050 on my Perfect Sun 1000. We had 1,200 on the Gavita, or on the Ushio, the double-ended bulb. So that's about, 150 more umals. But if you look at the spectrum of both lights, my light utilizes more of the spectrum of the plant better. So most of that intensity is coming from that blue, that big spike of blue, that big spike of red. So it's an all-around light that will give you nice node spacing. You can veg with it, and then it'll give you nice, awesome growth in flower because it has all that red and everything. So all the spectrum's there. It also has much less of the yellow and the green, therefore it produces a lot less heat. We know it produces a lot less heat as well because it uses way less electricity. The other thing, because you're producing less heat, that means you're using less electricity to keep a room cool. Whether you're keeping your room cool with really powerful fans and ducting fans that are pulling air through your room, or cool hoods and all this kind of stuff. I think they make cool hoods now for the double-ended bulbs. You're using all that extra electricity for those fans. If you're using AC, using all the extra electricity to keep your room cooler with the Gavita bulbs than you would with my bulb. My bulb you can also get away with, it's not a bulb, but my light you can also get away with growing in a closet. This thing you could not grow in a closet with, not without a good AC in there. Like my closet right now, I can probably put that in there and get away with it, but it has to be super high. If it's stationary, that thing has to be super high. It's so hot, it produces so much heat on the plant. My light doesn't do that. My light stays cool under the touch. So I can get my light closer to the plant without actually giving it heat damage. Now, if it gets too much light, too much intensity, you can still start to bleach the leaves out with intensity. So you still want to keep it a good distance above the top of the plant. And so I wouldn't go in, if you're not on a light mover, keep it 2 feet above the top of your plant. And then you can start lowering it slowly. If the top leaves stay nice and vibrant and green, they don't start getting lighter and lighter green, then you know that the plant's handling the mount right. Make sure you feed it with more as you get the light closer as well. Feed it with more nutrients. Not more often, just give it a higher amount. So instead of like 900 ppm, go to 1200 ppm. That's what I do with the Gavita bulb when it's really close like that. So yeah, that's pretty much it, folks. As you can see, the proof is there. This is the most powerful light. Now you're going to notice, and I want you to pay attention to this, if you look at other LED companies out there, what they don't do what I just did. They don't show the entire instrument in the camera. They don't also show that the exact reading you're getting real time. Now, King Spectrum does show real-time readings, but, and I'm not saying he did this on purpose, he didn't show the entire instrument in the entire camera view. You saw the meter, you saw the end, you didn't see the wire. He could have been using 2 meters and easily fooling us with very, it'd be so easy to do. I know there's a lot of King Spectrum guys out there that love their lights. Now, if you know that spectrum matters already, and you know that intensity matters, and you know that par matters, then you know my light's way better. I've just proven it. At 3 feet away, I'm getting 1,050 ohms. That's the par read I'm getting with the exact same meter, the exact same brand that King Spectrum uses. What did he get again? 300? 300. I'm getting 700 more. That's how much more intense it is from 3 feet away. That's insane. And I can go all the way down to 7 feet away and still be almost at 300, what he gets at 3 feet away. That is penetration. That means you can grow big fat trees under this light. This is a light that you can grow super tall, fat trees, and even the bottom branches are still going to be awesome and dense buds. So that's pretty much it, folks. This light is just great for all around. I think that this is going to be the next light to take and storm the marketplace because it actually compares to Gavita. I think when I do a side-by-side comparison, based on the numbers I see, it's going to outperform the Gavita. Now, one question you guys might be wondering, and I didn't have time to do it in this video, what's the coverage of it though? The Gavita has good coverage. The Gavita from 2 feet away covers about a good 4 by 4 feet pretty easily. My light covers about, from 2 feet away, it can cover about 4 by 3 feet. So it doesn't have quite the same coverage, but the drop off isn't all that, it's not super huge either for it when you get down to the edge at 2 feet away. And you're going to want to keep my light at 2 feet away. It's that powerful, unless you have a light mover. Now that's where it's really going to shine. You put that thing on a light mover, put it 18 inches away from your plants when they're in flower, and let it go back and forth. It'll easily cover you in 8 by 4 feet, no problem. But again, it's using half the electricity than that monster beast is, and at least half of the heat, no doubt about it. Like probably way less than half, or way more than. That thing's probably using 3 times more heat than Gavita is. All right, so that's it, folks. Now, keep one other thing in mind. It's really impossible in a square tent to use 2 lights because you can't just put them in the center. It's not really going to cover everything equally. If you put one diagonal and diagonal, you're not going to get the corners equally. So either way, you're not going to ever get even coverage with 2 square lights. You have to use 4 of them. But with 2 of these, you can get full even coverage. So it makes it much easier in any grow space to get full even coverage. You can see here, it's got my beautiful logo on there. This is not a sticker. This is actually right there on the thing. It's beautiful. So it's permanently on there. This absolutely beautiful light. One is really, really cool that stands out. I'm going to show this right here is the construction. And I had a lot of different options to go with. Could have went with the standard hooks like those ones used to hang it. But I like this design. It's really, really cool. And you're going to see why I like it so much in just a second. I decided to go with a plug that actually screws in right here. So this plug actually screws in, 3-prong plug screws in and makes it nice and durable so that if anything gets pulled on, it's not going to damage your plug. It's not going to damage the plug inside or the electronics or anything like that. So it's going to last you, forever and ever. This is obviously an American plug. That's all I sell right now, just so you know. So if you want a European plug, you're going to have to buy an adapter plug or buy a plug that is a European plug for it. And also the shipping is going to be a little more expensive. Now it is a much lighter light. And so the shipping won't be nearly as bad overseas. All right, so now let's go ahead and look at the lenses, which is the real beauty of this light here. Also has quiet fans, has 2 per each module. So if anything were to go wrong, if a driver were to go out, you can replace this to driver. We would replace it within the first 2 years because it has a 2-year warranty. If a fan goes out, easy to replace. Just simple, open this up, simple screws. And then if the whole entire panel happens to go out, you can just replace the whole panel. That's why. So it's not the whole light is ever going to go out. And so even if a panel ever goes out, boom, you can just replace that one panel rather than having to replace your whole light, which is much, much cheaper. And that's it. That's if the warranty had run out, whatever. Now, if you look at the front of it, you can see the beauty of these things. These are patented double-ended lenses. This is why the light's so powerful. This is why it has such huge penetration. Better penetration than a double-ended 1000-watt Gavita. I'm about to prove that now in this video. They look very similar to the kind double-ended type lenses. These are the magic of it right here. They use 5-watt diodes, so they're super powerful. All right, so here's what I went with for an option for hanging. So these things right here, they just screw on by hand, and you can just hand screw them on. They're really nice screws here. You can actually take the whole entire thing off. I'll show you that right now real quick. Right, so it has this really nice, good size nut, I guess you can think of it as, that screws over the bolt right here. So it's nice, good size threads. So it threads on so it can very easily hold the weight, and it's very sturdy. All you have to do is hand tighten it. So when you get the light, these things aren't attached yet. You just go ahead and attach them really fast like that. Boom, hand tight. Now you have this center, you can unscrew that and this will slide back and forth. That way you can find the center of tension here. And when you do, you can tighten that back again. And now it's not going to slide back and forth. It's going to stay right there where you want it. Has a nice sturdy clip right here, so you can clip it onto your ratchets. I like using ratchets for raising the lights up and down. Some people like yo-yos. I just don't really like them. Now, in order to adjust how high you want this to go, you simply pull this wire down. So if you want this to get shorter, you can pull all the way down to where it's as short as it can be, like that. There's one on each side of the light, so you can get it down to where it's short. Attach that to your ratchets, get them as short as you can, and now you have, a little less than a foot from the ceiling that you can get it to. Now all you have to do is there's a little pin right here. You just press that in. It's right here at the end. You press that pin in, and you can pull this out, and you can lengthen this if you want to lengthen it here as well. I'm going to keep them to where they're nice and tight and close to the light. But what's good about this, if you want it to match the middle, you can have them both match the middle and just use one clip to hold on to the middle. That might cause a little bit of swing of the light, but it won't cause much. Or you can use 2 different ratchets, however you want to do it. So the options are there. It's awesome. And so yeah, I prefer this hanging method right here. It's just brilliant, fantastic. All right, let's go ahead and see this thing in action.